Hi, today we're doing a standing rib roast. What I have here is rib roast, 2 bones, about 4 pounds, slightly under 4 pounds. I just took it out of the refrigerator. And what I'm going to do is just salt it and let it come up to room temperature before I cook. So rib roast is essentially a ribeye steak, except we have a bigger chunk of meat. So I'm going to just salt all surfaces, push in the salt, and I'm using kosher salt. And then I'll wrap and let it come up to room temperature slowly. Alright, all surfaces have been salted. One thing I should note, what we bought this time was USDA Select rib roast. Usually we buy USDA Choice. Basically with USDA Select, there's less marbling, fat marbling in the meat, as you can see along the edges, and usually more fat, more flavor, a little more tender, but we'll see how the USDA Select turns out. Alright, the roast has been resting at room temperature for about 5, almost 6 hours, and I set the oven to 250, and I have a probe thermometer. I'm going to cook it low and slow, or what's also called the Reverse Sear Method. So I'm going to insert this into the largest part of the roast, and I want it to go roughly in the center, so right there. Or if I should go this way. So if I shoot this way, use my hand as and my target temperature is 130. I know that's high for some people, but I like my roast to be medium rare towards medium, maybe towards medium. So 130 it is. Boop. And into the oven it goes, 250, until the timer goes off, or I'm sorry, until the buzzer goes off. Right, the roast has reached my desired temperature of 130. I took it out of the oven. It's still looks a little uncooked, but basically what we're doing is cooking it low to get to an internal temperature that we want. And I'm gonna crank up the oven to 500 degrees or higher, as high as I can go, and then we'll bake it for about 10 minutes to give it a nice crust. While the oven is coming up to 550 degrees, I've took the liberty of rubbing butter around on the roast. I like the way butter and beef, especially when it's cooked under a high heat, tastes. I'll probably add a little more salt and pepper on top before putting in the oven for browning. Alright, the roast has been sitting here. I switched to a rim baking sheet so the heat could brown all sides. The oven's at 550. The roast is now, as it was resting, has gone up from 130, 131 to 138. So I'll put this in for about 5 minutes and see what happens, or see how it looks. Alright, the rib roast has been in a hot oven. I checked at 5 minutes and needed more time. So this is at roughly 8, almost 9 minutes. So it's gotten brown. This part I'll cut off, but I'll let it cool off, and I think it's ready to go. Alright, the roast has cooled off for about a half hour. I'm going to trim it. So basically what I do is cut the roast off the bone with a sharp knife. And then we save the bones for snacks. So the bone is cut off. And we start cutting slices. Depending on how thick you like them. I'll do about a ½ inch thick. So we have medium doneness. If you have more people, you get an electric knife and cut it really thin. If it's only 2 people, cut it in half and you're good. So there's the roast beef or standing rib roast. Cooked to 130, actually temperature rose to 138, put it in a hot oven and the temperature stayed at about 138. Thanks for watching.